right.
It couldn't take a friend. If
Yes.
As long as they don't know, they don't.
Close at the end of this month. Young couple. Yeah. I always threw a fit when I didn't get one.
I was gonna say, I still do that.
Two more minutes, and then we start.
You want a video of your first?
It's kind of small, so I gotta be careful it doesn't break.
We gotta get a bigger one.
Yeah, we get it better. Wonder how long this has been around.
Before my time.
Before your time.
32 years, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
That's actually kind of cool.
That is pretty cool.
Now the pressure's really on not to break it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right?
You remember that guy?
Yeah.
Broke the gavel.
Did you run, Barb?
Congratulations on your division.
Got some pictures for you. You do.
It's a great time.
Shall we?
Okay.
Stuart City Council special meeting, tentative agenda, Monday, January 5th, 2026, 6 p.m., council chambers. Call to order. Coball. Here. Capps.
Here.
Ingworth.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Number 2, agenda approval.
So moved. Motion?
Okay.
I'll second.
How do you vote? Coball.
Yes.
Capps.
Yes.
Ingworth.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Okay, number 3, work session. So basically what I wanted to do here was just, there's a new council for the most part. We do have some veterans on the city council. So basically I just wanted to be transparent, like I said, when we was debating. Want to be open to the public. I just wanted to kind of share my expectations of the city council and also to the audience. So there's no disruptions and for recording purposes, whatnot, whatever. So hopefully the city council, I reached out to them and asked them individually if they would provide expectations from themselves on how they wanted the meetings to be ran and also their expectations about me. So hopefully we can hear some of that tonight. Hopefully they brought some information as well. I will go ahead and start. I do have a list of all the information or my expectations. And also I do want to talk about the agenda. And we'll cover that after we get done with the expectations. So this is just casual. There's no voting tonight. There's no discussion on any topics. You may ask questions. I will talk about some things that I want you guys to think about for next week that we will be voting on next week. But there's no discussion on that. Like I said, ask questions, but there's just no discussion. There is no public forum. This is just a work session, kind of get the new members up to speed a little bit. So this is just laid back, casual. So I'll get started so we all can get out of here and I won't waste your guys' time. So, this is my question to all of you. Your names is on the website, but without doing a lot of digging and trying to find a good contact for you guys, would you guys want your phone numbers on there, an email address? That is something for you guys to decide. And you guys can decide that tonight, whatever. So I see that Matt is taking notes. And that is totally, if we're gonna be transparent, we're going to be talking about some things and the public might need to reach out to a council member. And we need to provide that to them the best way possible. They don't need to be, I mean, they can go up to City Hall and get your phone numbers. I feel, in my opinion, if it's on the website, it's easy, it's accessible, it's right there, but that's totally up to you guys. I'm not forcing you guys to do that. Totally up to you. So,
I got just a quick, Nadine
sure.
emailed me asking for all that information and what I was comfortable with being on the website. Did any of you guys get that?
Yeah, I got the same thing.
I did get that, but
Okay.
I didn't know if that is something that we're going to put on the Facebook website. I'm comfortable with my information out there, but everybody is different. Yes, sir.
I'll be honest, I got the same email from Nadine. I may have misread it, but I don't think it was anything about putting anything on a website. It was just keep it up here.
Sure.
And then they release it
If people call up
out
here.
there, because you put it on a website, you might get somebody from another state calling, emailing you.
Sure.
And you don't need that. You know, that's just my personal feeling. So personally, I wouldn't want mine on the website.
Okay. Okay, and that's totally up to you guys, so I'll leave it as that. Second thing on my list was, we are a small community. We have a lot of volunteers that volunteer for fire, rescue, everything else. To make the meetings run efficient and with less disruptions, I'm gonna ask that the council, I hear it going off.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say like this, I had it, see, it sat at home and I turned it to silent,
You're
and
totally,
then it was like,
yeah, you're totally fine.
Sorry about that.
I'm just asking that the city council and the audience silence your phones, pagers, or whatever. I get that the police officers are in here, I get rescues in here, and there's members of the fire department on here. Love your service, I appreciate everything that you guys do, but with the new microphone, we're getting it dialed in where it's gonna pick up a lot of that noise out in the audience, and we don't want the audience at home to say, I missed that because a phone's going off, whatnot, whatever. So if we could do that, that'd be huge. Number 3, no audience distractions during the meetings. Again, that kind of goes along with the phones being silenced, the pagers, whatever. But if you need to go, you have to go if you're needed for volunteer services. I totally understand, and I'd want you to, participate in that if you have to go. Number 4, all conversations must be respectful from the community and to the community. So that goes for us when we're talking to the audience, community members. I want everything to be respectful. We're all grown adults. There are times where we get into heated debates. I've been there, and I own it. And I found myself in Ash's office getting talked to one time because of my actions. And since then, I've really paid attention to my actions. So we just need to hone that in for everybody. So just be respectful, that's all. Number 5, to ensure all council members are heard during a meeting, I think we need to adopt a meeting format. And what I mean by that is we need to adopt, there's nothing in our code saying that we use parliamentary or Robert's Rule of Order. I think we need to adopt one of those. And you guys will see that. This is one of the things that I'm dropping the seed for you guys, information. You will see it on next week's agenda. We need to adopt one of those, what we're gonna go by, so we can make sure that our meetings are smooth, ran professionally, and more efficiently, so we can get out of here and not spend 4 hours in a meeting or whatnot, whatever. So you guys will see that on the agenda for next week as well. So think about that. Or if there's a different meeting format that's out there, please bring it to my attention and we can talk about it. I just wanted to plant that seed a little bit, so. Number 6, I was very bad about this, and I'll admit this. The motions that you guys make up here, and gals, that you guys make up here, please make it your motion. And what I mean by that is, tell Sarah or Ash exactly what your motion is. And I was very bad about that. And looking back and looking at other city councils, that's your motion. And Sarah does a very good job. She's a very fast writer, which I'm watching her now, right? She's very fast, but she's not that fast when you make your motion. And she might ask you, could you repeat yourself? Sometimes the motions get long and she's not catching all of it, but at the end of the day, it is black and white. That's your motion. So you spell out that motion so she can have it perfectly when she's taking notes, and that's yours. Then we'll move on to a second and discussion, whatever the case may be. So number 7. I'll be talking more about this here shortly when we talk about the agenda, but I'm gonna move the public forum to the start of the meeting.
Awesome.
I think it's very important that we do that. A lot of other meetings do that. The community members will have 3 minutes to come up to the podium and talk. They won't be allowed to talk about anything on that given agenda for that night. They're not allowed to talk about that. And also, in public forum, the city council can't engage in that conversation with that person either. That is strictly their time. They can speak whatever they need to, and then when their 3 minutes are up, either they're done before that 3 minutes, or I will stop them. I'll watch my phone. I will stop them. Their time is up, and that's all there is to it. Okay. Applications for city committees and boards. We need to update those. I've been getting some feedback that it seems like our application process is, they have to sign their life away, and it's a book. It's a couple pages. I think we can kind of fix that a little bit, and I think we should, because we do need some volunteers from the community to volunteer for some of these boards. So we're a little low on numbers for these boards, and I can't wait. Hopefully we can draw some people in. When we did have the informational gathering there a few weeks ago or whatnot, we did have some people from the community show up and spark interest. So, and that was good. I'm glad the community showed up, but we are still needing help for some of them committees. Number 9, this is gonna be huge, and I had a meeting with Ash and Sarah today, and I was gonna talk to them about the agenda, but I wanted to discuss it here. So this is gonna be something new that we're going to be doing. The meeting agenda will be finalized and posted by the close of business Wednesday before the council meeting. So what I mean by that, so the first Monday of the month, the city council meetings are on the second Monday. The first meeting of the month, all agenda items will be turned into City Hall. By Wednesday, this will give time for Ash and his team to have the agenda laid out by Wednesday, and it'll be ready for us to pick up, have it in an email, whatever the case may be, by Wednesday night. This allows the city council to do research. Everybody's lives are busy. I get that, and you may not have time to do that. I felt like when I was on the city council Friday, I was rushed. And yes, to clear the air, I did check codes and ordinances and had a conversation, and we are allowed to do that. But I felt like there was rushed and there wasn't enough time, so getting my packet on a Friday night to see what was on the agenda and do some research, you had to bother people on a weekend, to contact people, whatnot, whatever. So having it, Wednesday will give us ample amount of time, to get the information that you need. And this gives the public ample amount of time to reach out to a council member and ask questions, or whatever the case may be. So, sorry, Ash, Sarah, that we didn't discuss that today. I wanted to be transparent and just talk about it here, but we're gonna have a meeting. This will happen in February. Okay, so January, we're just gonna follow the motions for January, okay? So, these changes will be, and you guys will kind of see the layout, what I came up with, here shortly. Any questions so far? I don't wanna rush through this and not give you guys any time to ask questions.
Does that seem like enough time to get a council packet put together if everything's turned in by end of day Monday?
We will make it work.
Just, the only thing that will change is, I just want the council to be understanding that there will be a revised agenda. If you get it on Wednesday, that doesn't stop the public from asking to be on the agenda Thursday or Friday.
Right.
So there will be some revised agenda every once in a while. We can do it and email you with revised agenda and all the stuff. That's the only drop in getting it on Wednesday. Because we have to publish it 24 hours before the meeting. So we can do it Wednesday, we can do it Tuesday, it doesn't matter when we do it. But the people can come until Friday and ask to be on the agenda, and they have the right to be on the agenda. So we can get that and send you a revised agenda with a revised attachment if you need by email. So that's when I want the council to be aware that you might be seeing a revised agenda quite often.
And I think, to add to that, I think in my opinion, I think we need to be a hard deadline. I'm not going against you, Ash, but I'd like to be a hard deadline as Monday. Now, if somebody brings up, and this is where it's gonna get a little muddy at first. If somebody comes in and says, here, I wanna be put on the agenda, and they don't have information to put in the packets for all of you council members, and they say, oh, we'll get it to you later, that's gonna be unacceptable. Every information needs to be into you guys, so you guys can do your job Monday, at the end of the day. That's it. Now, if there is, say Zach came in and said, here's my information, put everything in the packet, I wanna be on the agenda, and here's everything that I'm laying out to you, then he comes in like Thursday and say, hey, I wanna amend this, there's a revision on this, can you put it in there? That will be acceptable.
Yes.
But anything that comes in Monday and say, here, hurry up and throw me on the agenda, then I will provide the information to you Friday. It will go on next month's.
Yeah.
So, is that,
Yeah.
are you good with it?
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm good, yeah.
I
Because
feel,
it's gonna be a rule. you
yeah,
know,
yes. And I'm a firm believer that the council members need to have time
Absolutely, yeah.
to get everything kinda hashed out. So, I know it's gonna be a little rough at first to get everybody mindset on that, but I think it'll, work out good as well. Another thing, talking about the agenda, here's another thing that I want you guys to think about. Do you want packets or do you want it emailed? I don't care, I'm not gonna make that decision, I'll let you guys think about it. We can discuss it next week, but it's just something to think about. If we go with packets, they will be ready by close of business on Wednesday, if possible.
Yes.
Sarah's a good worker, I have faith in her. But, so they will be ready for pickup. I'm going to take that away from having those delivered from the Stuart Police Department. They're, obviously, we all know that they're understaffed right now. That is something that I'm gonna take off their plates. So they will be here ready for pickup Wednesday. If you're not able to get off work or whatever the case may be, I'm around, I'll pick them up, I'll deliver them to your house. It's not a big deal. I don't want you guys to stress out over it.
I can.
It's
help
not a
with that
huge
too. I'm pretty close by.
Yes, yes, and that would be an option too. I just don't wanna put that burden on the Stuart Police Department with them being understaffed right now. I don't want them to be busy and hear the packet set in their cars for a day or two, and we're not getting that information. I'm not saying that they always take priority on our packets, but sometimes things happen. So, and I feel like I'd like to take that away from the Stuart Police Department from delivering, so we'll figure that out. So, okay. Sorry, I kinda went on a tangent there. All right, number 11. And we can, and we probably will, we're coming into budget time. So with you new council members, we're coming into where we're gonna be working on budgets and everything else. We're gonna have work sessions, kinda like tonight. I guess my idea, and you guys can shoot me down, that's totally fine, but something to think about as well. Once we start doing these work sessions, we might do work sessions at 6 p.m. We have to publicize this as a regular public meeting, which is fine, but we would come in here and work for an hour and just talk about budget things, kind of like what we do in a special meeting, council meeting. And we can do that for an hour. Maybe we show up at 6:30, and then we would start our official business meeting at 7 o'clock. This doesn't have to happen every meeting, every month. No, I'm just saying if we need work sessions to talk about budget or special big projects coming up, whatever the case may be, this is just on a hit or miss type deal. So that's an option that we could do that half hour before the meeting. I'm trying to help Ash out a little bit where we don't have these special meetings and he has to stay all the time. So he probably wants to go home too at the end of the day. So if we could just lump maybe that meeting, work session in front of the normal council meeting, that'd be great too. So something to think about, I'm just throwing that out there. Another thing that we're gonna find on the agenda, I'm gonna do something new here. Some cities do this, some don't. They call it community wins. And what I mean by that is it's kind of a shout out. It's a shout out to people that have done something really good in the community. I think it's very engaging. I do this at work as well, and then I started thinking about it, and then I started doing some research on other communities that do this, and it's just a shout out. And I'll use like the Stuart Fire Department for an example. You know, they were out on a house fire, and it's -10 degrees outside, and all the guys work really hard, and gals work really hard. They extinguish the fire, and lives were saved and everything else. That's a community win. That's huge. I mean, that might be like really over the top, but it could happen, right? So that's a huge community win. So that is something that I'd like to put on the agenda so we can bring it to the community and say, hey, this is great. This is what happened. Or Ash and Sarah, they went to this training and they learned this, and shout out to them to go for 4 days to this training, whatever the case may be. So I think it's very engaging. It's positive, and I'd like to see that. So other than that, that is all my expectations. I will, we can go around the room. Mr. Cowboy, if you have something, the table is yours, the floor is yours.
Supposed to start at the other end.
Oh, which we can skip you and come back.
It's all right, it's all right. My biggest thing, are these all going to be implemented, or are they just kind of suggestions right now?
No, most of these, except for the ones that I talked about the Robert's Rule of Order, that is for you guys to distinguish. The other ones about the work sessions, if we wanted to do that before the meeting, that would be for you guys. But everything else, yes, those are going to be implemented, yes.
Because the only thing that, you know, my expectation is that, you know, we try to follow our own code and stuff like that and do stuff the right way. I'd hope everybody would agree that's the best way. And in our code, it says that the council can establish its own rules. Now, these are great suggestions, okay? And I don't have an issue with any of them. But I think we would also need the ability to amend any of this. We would have to vote on it to make it official. It can't just be, we're going to do this. And I actually have the section of our code where it does talk about the council. And Ash, you would know this, right?
Yes.
You would know it. Rules of procedure, the council shall determine its own rules and maintain records of its proceeding. That's pursuant to code section 372.135. And that's also in state code. And again, I don't have a problem with this. This is not, but I think, you know, just so we don't say, hey, this is it. I know I have done research on other cities that have their own rules, and a lot of this fits into it. You know, so somebody, or, you know, I would take it upon myself to go through and look at, I don't know if Adel, I thought I had Adels at one time, or even City of West Des Moines, and you can find all that in there, and then you have something in writing, so we're not having to come up with our own thing to put out there, and this is our council rules.
Sure.
I just want to be sure that, you know, we understand that we're kind of doing things and kind of give them, the council, the opportunity to do their work as it's laid out in our code. You know, that's all I would ask. So,
When I researched the code, I thought that that particular part of the code pertained to picking Robert's Rule of Order or parliamentary procedure. I thought the job description of the mayor stated that the mayor sets, runs, and determines the agenda.
no, there's nothing in our code that says the mayor does the agenda or anything, so
In his job description, in the,
I don't believe in our
Oh.
code it says that. League of Cities talks about the role of the mayor. The majority of cities in Iowa operate under mayor-council form of government. That's what we do. Am I correct, Ash?
Yes.
Okay. With an odd number of council members under this form of government, the mayor never votes, not even to break a tie. The mayor has no veto authority over a motion, but you can do a resolution, an amendment, et cetera, et cetera. It's also the presiding officer of the council is described in section 372.14 and often tasked with leading city council meetings and enforcing any rules and procedures adopted by the council. So we can adopt our own rules. And again, I don't want people to think, because I know this is what people think, because I've heard it from several, that if I disagree with something or I question something, that I hate it, and I don't hate it. I just want to be sure that the council's afforded the respect they deserve, as we would respect your position too, on this, and that we have the opportunity to vote on this by resolution, make it part of our rules, and go forward, because I'm reading off our code. I mean.
No, and that's totally fine. What I will do, I will send this back to Dwayne, because him and I already discussed this, and he was totally fine on it, give his seal of approval on it, and tell him your concerns and everything else too. So I don't have a problem with that, and that's totally fine. And we can do that, because by all means, I think we all need to get along. I'm not gonna try to overtalk that. That'll win every time. But yeah, so, yes, I feel like we can all agree on some things, and if we need to tweak some things, I'm totally flexible. So, not a big deal, so.
And to help out with these things, since I have been here, or been around for a long time, the council has adopted code of ethics and code of conduct. We can bring that up and give it to Dwayne to look at it, and maybe we just bring it up again and vote on it again.
Sure.
But the council has adopted code of ethics and code of conduct.
Okay. So, perfect.
We'll work on that.
Okay. Sure. Did you have anything
That's, yeah, like I said, and none of this is new from what I've seen in other cities, council rules. You know, it's just, why reinvent the wheel
Right,
and
right.
have the unnecessary work if we can go out and find it, you know, and incorporate it, and
We have,
you may even need to change the name of the city sometimes. And go,
we
"Oh,
passed
there
it,
you go."
we passed it long time ago, so
Yeah.
we need to bring it back again and.
Maybe
we'll
just
give
send
it
that,
to Dwayne.
I don't know if everybody's gotten a copy of that. My
We'll
other
send it
council
to
members?
everybody and bring it back again and
Sure.
send it to everybody and send it to Dwayne and
Sure.
have the mail contact Dwayne and see whether to update it or to leave it as it is and move on with it. And we will work around it. I'm glad
Sure.
it's brought up. And like I said, I've been here for 32 years, so
Right.
stuff happened 30 years ago. Maybe needs to be updated or something like that, but it's there. We have that code of ethics and code of conduct.
Right. And I guess now that you say that, there might be one thing. So when you said, you know, the people, the citizens can put stuff, is there going to be, besides just the timeline, is there like, can anybody just put anything on the agenda, or how does that work?
Usually the practice that we have is people contact City Hall, give them the request. We always ask for material to be provided with it. I usually have the agenda and go over it with the mayor, you know, every month. And then it goes out after that. As long as there is nothing really needed to have the attorney involved, we go on and pass it. We usually get the attorney to look at it before it's out to make sure that we're following all the rules.
How about council members? Is that the same thing, or would any council member be able to put something onto the agenda?
Yeah, if it's not controversial or anything, yeah.
Right,
okay, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
just-
sometimes things can, like personnel issues, stuff like that, became more controversial, so we have to discuss it.
Sure.
Usually discuss it with the mayor and stuff like that. But yeah, you can call anytime you wanna have something on the agenda to open street, close street, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Normal issue, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Fine.
no different than any normal citizen wanna be on the agenda for anything.
Again, just going back through what I have read in other procedures, they kind of spell it out that, you know, some will say a council member can put an item on the agenda
Yes,
at any time
yes.
on there, you know, and then they have specific, so I'm just,
Freedom of speech, yeah, it's just, not just council members, citizens
Sure.
too, anybody has a right to be on the agenda.
Okay.
Unless it's controversial, like I said, controversial issues when we go to the lawyer.
Sure.
To see what's going on, you know.
Sure.
But if it's normal day-to-day business or normal operation, yeah, freedom of speech.
You sound big.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
Okay?
You're totally
And-
fine.
And to be honest, guys, with everything going on, I may head over to the station
Yep,
to see
you're
what's
totally
going on.
Sure.
Just because we got some, Dave, do you know what's happening?
It's a barn out at the Rose Acres, it's fully involved.
Oh, shoot.
Hey, Mike, can you get a picture real quick of the council?
Hurry up.
Can I do it? Go down.
Sit down.
You want us to?
That's our new.
My hair look good?
Harold is done. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Done.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, I guess I'm
That's
glad.
fine.
No, be careful. Yep,
See what's-
be safe.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Because I know they have some empty ones.
That's not good.
Yeah, I know.
That's not good at all. Okay, well, I'm glad he got through his expectations, I guess, before he had to run out of here, so. Oh, gosh, hopefully everything turns out good out there. All right, moving on. Mrs. Capps.
Yeah, I have, first off, you hit a lot of the things that I had on my list already. I appreciate the conversation that we're gonna get to have around adopting a formal structure. I think it is important, I think it's there for a reason, so I really appreciate that. I also appreciate the timing of the packets. I know that weekends get so busy, and I do feel like giving us time to call and investigate is really important, so that was on my list. I did have a question, a clarification. So moving public forum to the top of the agenda and everyone getting 3 minutes to speak, I understand that. When we go through the agenda, though, on a particular topic, public members would have an opportunity to speak on that topic, correct or not?
probably not so much.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
it-
So,
I
like-
think it just opens up a can of worms. And then there's, how should I say this? Chaos, I guess. Depends what the topics are. Now, there may be a specific topic, let's pick on Chief Rehal. He's in the audience, and you guys need a question, or you're gonna ask the chief a question because he has that information and that information's not here. If he's in the audience, we'll go ahead and he'd be addressed. He can answer your questions and go from there. But just,
Give me more than 3 minutes, though, right?
you don't talk more than 3 minutes, chief.
So if I put an agenda item on and I knew there was a citizen that I had worked with or had answers,
Mhm.
do I need to recognize that citizen in my agenda item? Or when I'm speaking, could I say, and Jeff Howard's here to talk to us about it, and invite him to the conversation?
I don't think that would be a problem
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
If like Mr. Howard is in your, like your agenda item and you're working in the community and Jeff has that information or whatever, I wouldn't have a problem.
Okay.
If you guys incorporated somebody like that, but just to have the audience members just give their 2 cents on that topic, we're gonna probably refrain from that. And I'm not trying to, be hard to get along with by no means, but I think it's just some disruptions and we need to stay focused and keep the ball rolling here. But yes, not to sound like a broken record, but if you need to use somebody, Susie or, Lisa, and to provide the information, you're more welcome to call upon them, yes.
Okay, and then my last thing, this is for on down the road probably, but I would like to see a way for us to incorporate some feedback from the community on the timing of the meeting, on the time of the meeting. I think it's a great place to get people in the community to share what time works for them. I know we can't meet everybody's best time, but 3 or 4 months down the road, maybe in the summer, some sort of poll that just and maybe we're spot on, maybe this is the perfect time for people, but just kind of, I think it's a place for the community to give input. It is their meeting, and how they could, what time they would like to see it, so, on down the road. I'm done.
Thank you.
How many fire trucks do they have?
Yeah, it was just.
There's
That's
someone from
probably
Dexter.
Dexter or others.
Oh, it might be Dexter, okay, yep, didn't think about that, wow, okay. Thank you for that feedback, that was very good, feedback there. All right, moving on, Mr. Engworth, you have
The
anything?
work session, I think that's, yeah, a great idea. Can you go back on what your ideas were on, like when that would be, you said before the meeting?
Correct.
Okay.
So like, this is considered a special meeting, but if we're like, say, next Monday, our regular meeting, we'll start at 6. If we need to have a work session to talk about budget things, or Ash is like, you know what, I've got a lot of information for you guys, we need a work session, instead of having like a special meeting, and that special meeting might be on a Monday for an hour, maybe we just knock it out at a regular city council meeting, just like an hour prior to our regular business meeting, or a half an hour, whatever the case may be. Just kind of throwing that out there, like we could do a work session. And that goes for not just budgets, that's, from what I'm gathering, that goes for like big projects that you're working on. There's a big project that you guys are gonna be working on coming forward. We won't discuss that here, but, and you guys might need some time. And a lot of this, to give you a little history, Zach, and I won't stay on my soapbox very long, but a couple of years ago, Mr. Cook, Bob Cook, stood up at the podium and he told us, slow down. You guys you get the information, you no more talk about it for 2-3 seconds, and then you're voting on it. And I remember what Bob said, he's like, slow down, take a breath, get your information, and when you guys make those decisions, some of those decisions are dealing with millions of dollars. So We wanna have that time, we wanna make sure that you guys have that information, that you're informative, and you have everything in front of you to make a good biased decision, and that's what we need. So we will take as long as possible. Don't be ashamed if you have to ask questions. I used to get kind of embarrassed setting up here when I first started. It's like, oh gosh, everybody's watching me. Yes, everybody is watching you. However, the community wanted you up here. That's why you're setting up here. So, and you're not looking foolish or anything if you guys have to ask questions. It's totally fine. I don't know everything. I'm human. I'll make mistakes. But it's totally fine. So, okay. All right, moving on. Mr. Nelson?
Yes, one thing that I would like to see done is we bring back the cemetery committee. Angie and I met with Mike and Katie, and I think we're really missing out on not having an actual committee, like having us make all those decisions. Seems like we're probably missing out on some things that Mike is very knowledgeable about and can really improve on things out there.
Since you have checked your email probably, I officially asked for it to be on the agenda for Monday. I think might be in Sarah's inbox. And I have some supporting information. So that might bring me to a question. I'll wait till Trevor's.
Well, no, if it's part of this, please, go ahead.
What is the procedure to put something on? Is an email an appropriate way to ask to have
Yes.
something put on the agenda?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Thanks, Trevor.
And as far as everything you've laid out for us today, I don't have much of a problem with any of it. Nothing really jumped out at me. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think that's about it for me.
Okay. Mr. Russell?
I think one of my big things would be, as part of what we're adopting, I mean, I know some of those things can be outlined in Robert Rule of Law and Parliament procedures, but a lot of times we can sit up here and we can go round and round and round and round on the same topic for an hour. Are you gonna put some constraints around that and just say, it looks like we don't have enough information to make a decision tonight, we need to table this, we need to do our fact finding and put something to rest, or say, you guys need to put a motion forward, if not, and stop, like I said, some of these meetings those topics just go on forever, they don't need to be.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up, because that is one thing. So here's where I'm human, I made a mistake. So on my expectations, I put that every council member had a 4-minute talk time to kind of limit that. And Dwayne said, no, you will not do that. Just make sure that the conversation don't keep going on. Hone that in a little bit, but don't put a time on things. So this is why I ran everything through our city attorney, just so I can get the feedback from him. He's very knowledgeable, and I appreciate his feedback. But yes, I will control the meetings a little bit more where, especially if one person is very passionate and they're kind of like taking over the meetings, yes, then I will call order and kind of rein that said person in, so it doesn't keep going. But yes, to answer your question, if it feels like we're just spinning in the mud, we're gonna move on. We either table it so we get more information, or we make a decision. So yes.
And if we table something, can we either decide that it goes to the next meeting instead of making a special meeting? Because it seems like that happens a lot with the previous councils, is special meeting, special meeting, special meeting. So
Yeah.
I'd like to.
I'm glad you
save
bring that up
everybody's time.
because we're gonna talk about that in the agenda here coming up. So yes. So
Let's see, going on. I know I was probably bad about this in, the previous past there, but as a mayor, what is your expectation of us with our appointments as a liaison to certain departments? What sort of frequency should we be reaching out to our contact person with that? And what sort of information are you gonna be expecting out of us for that? Is there anything like that you're wanting to see?
So, and I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Russell, because the mayor does make the appointments to like the cemetery committee, the streets departments, parks, recs, whatever the case may be. However, he doesn't have to appoint anybody to that. So, to be quite frankly honest with you, I don't know, I don't know if those positions are gonna be appointed.
Okay.
I will appoint a mayor pro tem, that will be in stone for sure. But I haven't decided fully if those other committees are gonna have a council member appointed to those.
As a
Yeah.
liaison.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
we still appoint committee members.
Yep.
They still have chairs.
Yep.
They
Yep.
still have a representative.
Thought of as discussions were happening throughout, and I kind of forgot that, but if I think of it, I'll bring it up, but
Okay.
I think that kind of covers what I had in mind.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we'll move on to the agenda. I'll pass these out. This is public knowledge. This doesn't have to be under wraps, but this is just kind of what I came up with. Nothing is finalized yet. I will have a meeting with Sarah and, I'll just let you guys have that. I will have a meeting with Sarah and Ash about this. I didn't want to blindside them tonight with it, but I'm blindsiding them with it tonight. But this is kind of looking at other cities. Wait,
Extras,
what's that?
I'll take the extras so they can
Oh.
see what we're looking at.
Is there extra?
Yeah.
Thank you. Kind of looking at other cities and the way they do things, not saying that we have to follow everybody, but I would like to restructure a little bit, like we talked about earlier. We're gonna have public forum kind of up top there. Kind of like the normal agenda that Ash and Sarah lays out. We'll do the call to order, the roll call. One thing we're gonna change, I'm gonna put Sarah to work. Like, you need more work to do anyway, right, Sarah? One thing, when we do roll call and talk to vote, or that I ask for a vote, the deputy clerk is going to do the roll call. So that will be your job, Sarah, and unless Ash wants it, but I was gonna let you have it. So anytime that we're voting in a roll call, the deputy clerk, Sarah, will do the roll call. And we all will stand up, do the Pledge of Allegiance. I think that's very important. I take pride in that. So, and a lot of committees do that. So that is a personal thing for me, and I think it's just a good thing, just all around. We'll do approval of agenda. Number 5, it'll be like a consent agenda, the approval of minutes and other routine items, which is, sometimes we talk about, we have to approve the liquor license and tobacco, stuff like that. That's what I mean by other routine items. That's where Ash's team, Sarah, and them, that's where they'll put that. Public forum, I shouldn't really put this in bullet points, but I did. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Speaker shall provide their first and last name and town of residency. That's very important. And you notice some of the town people do that now. I'm going to pick on Warren Varley or Forrest Aldrich. Every time they get to the podium, they state their first and last name, and Warren always says, attorney or live in Stuart or whatever the case may be. So that's my expectations of that. The city council shall not take action during the public forum. So even if the public ask you a question or whatnot, we don't intergate. That is their time to just speak, and we let the community speak. Right in between number 6 and number 7, where the old business, if we have to have a public hearing, that's where that's going to be interjected. So I was advised that you put public hearing right there, right after public forum, if we have to have public hearing. Not every agenda has public hearings. Number 7, be the old business. Here you go, Trevor, what you were just talking about. So everything that we table or whatever, it's going to circle back around, and that's where Sarah will put the old business or whatever. New business reports. The mayor's report, if applicable. Like I said, from when I was campaigning or whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to be very transparent, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. If there's something that I know you all will know. There are some things that is gonna be confidential, that I cannot talk about. And I will be the first one, if somebody asks me questions out on the street or whatever, if it's something I can't talk about, I will not talk about it. But other than that, I'm gonna be very open. I want everybody, I feel like that's where the gap has been a little bit, and we need to bridge that gap, from the city council and the community. And I think that's very simple to fix. So, I will have a mayor's report, city administrator and deputy clerk's report. They can also report on what's happening in their department, what's going on, what maybe is coming down the pipe a little bit. Department heads report. We used to get these a few years ago. I'm not saying that all the department heads need to show up in person and stand up here and give a whole day-to-day, every minute of their day, what they do. Just an overview. And I put on there the first one, like the police chief, like Chief Rehall and at that time, I think it was Chief Renslow. They used to just fill out something on a piece of paper, a paragraph or two, and just say, this is what our department's doing. Just a quick little overview. That way you city council members knows what's coming up. And Chief Rehall is really good about planning for the future. And I'm not saying no other department heads are. I'm picking on him because he's sitting right here. So, and maybe I should start picking on you, Lisa, but okay. But anyway, the department heads do a very, very good job about planning for the future. And I feel like if they're being transparent with us as well, we can start planning for that future. How many times have you seen years past, they come to the city council meetings like, we need this, we need this, we need this. We need to turn that over. We need to be a little more proactive instead of reactive. So that way, if they're communicating with us a little bit, we also know what's coming and what we need to start planning for. I'll let that sneak by. So that's all I mean by department head reports. It doesn't need to be very huge, just a little. And I just threw it in there, council member reports, if applicable. If you guys have reports or you see something, hey, this community member reached out to me, blah, 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 we're kind of working on this a little bit, just be transparent. You guys are gonna get tired of hearing me say be transparent, but I know there's a lot of in the weed stuff that happens, a lot of behind the curtains stuff that happens, and that's not necessary. Let us all know what that is so we all can work together and make it happen if it benefits the town of Stuart. So other than that, then adjournment. So this may change a little bit. I also got guidelines from our attorney on this. He made me do some changes on this, but he was fine with this as well. But I will come back in, Ash, Walls, 3 sit down. We can kind of work this around a little bit. I'm not gonna say this is set in stone, but I do value your guys' opinion as well. So this is just a proposal, I guess, but we'll work on that.
Sure.
And like I talked about today, we'll open communication and we'll work on that, so.
Sure, yep.
Can we share opinions now?
Absolutely, I'm ready for yours. How did I know that this was gonna happen?
So I just have a point. So number 10,
Okay,
that would be a report out. So anything that the directors bring forward, we're not gonna take an action on. So if Lisa had something she needed action on, she needs to get it on new business, number 9.
Yep.
And it won't be in the report out.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
yes.
Yep.
With that said, is there room to provide some sort of format for their report out of information that we would like to see? So some things just popped right to the top of my head. Like, could we hear from every director, what was their overtime in the past month? How much overtime did they pay in the last month? How much PTO did they award? Some of these things that continue to come forward to us that seem like a surprise, but really, in reality, it probably comes as a surprise because along the way the details got missed or like overlooked in a packet. So open positions, I think, is another one. We know if there's an open position, the current team's working twice as hard, and then they're gonna have to, do the training and such. So is there room to come up with a
Sure.
format that they could just kind of, these are what we wanna hear every month, and then tell us the rest of your
So
story?
so make that format where they can just have it on their desktop or whatever and say, here, fill this out every month.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just need to come up with that format to send out to the department heads then?
Yep.
Is that what you're suggesting then?
Yep.
Okay,
I can come up with an example.
Sure.
for-
Sure, yeah.
okay.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Do have a question on number 5, part of the consent agenda, the other routine items like the liquor and tobacco licenses. Are we able to get more details included with those? Like, here's the class of alcohol license that's being, requested by a business, or I don't know if there's different tobacco licenses, or if they're requesting a device use license or whatever, just a tiny bit more details to that. So we have that understanding of what exactly is being requested and not just, yep, they're getting a liquor license. Well, what kind of liquor license? Or they're getting a tobacco license? Well, is it tobacco? Is it device use? What is it? Just
Okay.
provides us with that more detail as part of that.
Sure.
Okay. Good. All right, good feedback. This is what, this work session is all about, so good feedback. Okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay, sir, I'm gonna pick on you. What would be your expectations out of us? Like, what are you needing from myself as mayor or the city council to help you do anything? Is there anything that you would like to see?
I really appreciate your idea for the hard rule about the cutoff
Mhm.
for information for the agenda. That definitely helps me
Yeah.
be more organized.
And I don't want, if people come in and strong arm you and say, no, it has to be on there, you tell them to call me. And I'm totally fine with that. But no, we have to, that's the rules. That's the hard deadline. And if you do it for one, you have to do it for all. And I feel like with that, if we start adding information on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, now we're back to the routine where we don't have that time to do our research and get our information and everything. So I'm sorry, but if they come in, Monday when you guys are walking out and they said, here, I want this on the agenda, I'm sorry, it's close of business. It will be on for next month. So,
We will put it on the agenda in January for a motion.
Yeah.
So it's in a minute.
yeah,
We
and
can
we can
use
do
that
that,
to
yeah.
the public and inform them that that's a policy that the council has said. You will not coming up with a policy.
There are going to be emergencies.
Yes,
And
absolutely, yes.
there will be emergencies, so if the fire department, rescue, police department come in here and say, hey, one of our vehicles just, ploop, it's done, there's gonna be emergencies that we're gonna, and we might have to do a special meeting then, to talk about, hey, we need this, or whatever the case may be. Hopefully we can start getting a vehicle program in place, but there's going to be emergencies, and I don't wanna see the emergencies get kicked for another 30 days or whatever. But as far as, hey, my neighbor's dog is barking and I'd like to be on the agenda, I'm sorry, but if you don't make the cutoff, we will discuss it next month. So we have to put rules in place.
Yep.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Sarah. So anything else? Ash, do you have anything? I'll pick on you.
No, I'm good with all
Okay.
that stuff. We will try to get it more together. You and I will sit down and
Yeah.
Sarah and try to get that stuff all together. And if we're completely done, I might just bring something up. If we're done with items.
I am done. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm just wanna tell the council that comes April, I will be reaching the age of 66. And I think I'm getting old.
No.
I can't stop the clock, and I am thinking about retiring. I was supposed to retire last year at 65. I stayed for a whole year, and I visited with the mayor about why I stayed, to help bring Sarah to a level of handling the day-to-day of fine to go. She's really now able to be handling the city business on a day-to-day operation. If you guys wanna go higher than day-to-day operation, citywide management, all the stuff, you can reach for another city administrator. I'll be helping throughout the transition. I stay until the new council come along and all the stuff, so I can help out. I'm staying until we get the budget done and all that stuff. But like I said, I'm sorry, I can't stop aging.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I wanna retire while I'm still able to do stuff.
Enjoy life.
Yeah, of course.
So I haven't picked up the date yet. It will be in April. I still need to talk to IBAS and all the stuff. But I just wanted to know that
Appreciate
the
that.
transparency is good.
Yeah.
I discussed it with the mayor. I'll be discussing that issue with the utility board because I work for both. And we will make that transition easy. But you don't have to worry about anything because she's ready to take over the day-to-day operation. Very important at the city hall to have someone knows the city and utility operation. Unlike the other cities, because we're one unique cities, I think there's another 10 to 15 towns like us, where you have you're running two business in one place. So it's a little bit unique. It took me time, and she was able to put up with me throughout all the training. And she's now really you guys need to invest in her because she really knows how to run the operation on a day-to-day operation. So we'll talk about it more in the next few months coming up. I just want you to know, and everybody else to know, I will be discussing the issue with the utility too and see how you guys want to make the transition.
Sure.
That's what I wanted to say.
We appreciate that, Ash, thank you. And Ash and I did, and Sarah did have a meeting today, and we discussed that. And Ash did reassure that with the budget coming up this year, that we're gonna get past the budget session
Yes.
before he retires in
Yeah.
April, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll
Yeah.
at least get past
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna operate
Yeah.
like normal, you know. When it's time for me to go, it will be just fine and dandy. You won't be feeling it.
First off, Ash, I want to thank you for everything you've done over the past 32 years, you said, so it's been,
32, yeah.
appreciate it, it's been a pleasure so far. I guess, Corey, my question would be, are we gonna be holding a joint session to kind of talk through what both sides kind of want to do going forward, or?
Can do that. I'm waiting until
Yeah,
Thursday
obviously you
to
gotta
talk
have-
to
Yeah.
them and see what their expectation. But I think it would be a good idea to have a joint meeting and talk about all these things. But we have time,
Oh, yeah.
and as I always describe it, I'm retiring, not dying. So that's, I'll be around.
Oh, we hope not.
I'll be around to help, and she knows that it's just a phone call to get my help. I won't leave until we get the budget done and certified, all that stuff. It's very well planned because that's why I stayed from last year. I'm already on Medicare, so really. So, but I stayed to help the city hall, to help the council, because I know we're gonna go through transition and change of council members. So all it takes from a new council member is 2-3 months to get familiar with the whole thing, and that's where we're at now. Trust me, in 2-3 months, you'll be telling me how to run the operation.
That means Trevor is seasoned.
That means you're a seasoned councilman, it only takes 2 or 3 months.
About halfway there.
Yeah.
Well, that's all it takes, You will really come April, you're familiar with everything and all the stuff, because it's kind of new, as the mayor described, everything is new. You go through and you have expectation, but once you get in and you see it is a real thing, it's completely different than when you sit by the audience and hear about something.
Yeah.
So hopefully things will work out, and we will make the most out of it.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Everyone else?
What? Thanks, sir.
All right, thanks, everybody, appreciate it, meeting adjourned.